What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Skews Day to you. Thanks for joining us. It's November 11th, 2025. We are recording this on Monday, November 10th at about 1:30 p.m. on the left coast. That's where we are in space-time as we send this missive out to you across the digital ether. This is Weekly Skews. I'm Trey. That's Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Good, man. I wanted to start the show with a little bit of good news today. Our nation's, most famous freedom fighter, the sandwich guy, is free. They're calling him Nelson Mandela. This whole trial was really fucking fun to follow last week. He was, to recap, we've talked about this guy a few times. He threw the Subway sandwich in the Border Patrol officer's chest and got caught after the world's funniest foot chase. Then agreed to turn himself in after he was indicted, but instead Border Patrol helicopter raided his apartment building to arrest him. Judge Janine got denied multiple indictments for felonies. Instead, they had to take him to a jury trial. He chose to go to a jury trial for a misdemeanor. and after a 4-day trial that was only supposed to last 2, got off. I want to quote here, the judge, Carl Nichols, said he expected the trial to last 2 days on account of it being the simplest case in the world. But it ended up taking 4 because the jury really dug into this motherfucker. They cared.
What was supposed to be simple about it? Just that, like, what? Oh, I guess you're about to get it. So that, like, he got charged with assault, but you can't. The idea that you have to hurt someone or threaten them, like, legitimately in order to assault somebody, which you can't do with a fucking ham sandwich. So it's absurd, or
So again, the jury, the judge saying it's the simplest case in the world. It's on video, right? Everybody knows what happened. You could just go straight to deliberating. Really, just play the video and be like, "Do you think this guy did something wrong or not?" And go back. The problem was because this guy had mounted it, like his attorney mounted like an actual zealous defense. They had they cross-examined the cop and all this shit, and and really dug into it, and it became more and more obvious how fucking silly it was, and so during the deliberations. The jury foreman asked for clarification to the judge on the definition of the phrase "quote-unquote" bodily harm. They're like, so when you say bodily harm, what does that mean legally? And he's like, the judge's like, what it sounds like, did you hurt him? I'm like, all right.
Right. Which, no, right?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's like to me, it's like, yeah, this just feels like not understanding how laws work or being a lawyer or anything. This just feels like a common sense thing. Like, of course, it's absurd that he even had to go to trial for throwing a sandwich at a cop in the first place. But I didn't know if it was like you said, it's on camera. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, he did do that. It's just like, what is that? And so I didn't know if it was like, if that was the matter. He was getting charged with something. It's like, well, this doesn't rise to the level of that, so it doesn't matter that
They just overcharged him for the beginning, and they still did at the end. Like, if they instead of misdemeanor assault, they charged him with disorderly conduct. They'd been like, yeah, he was drunk and he fucking threw a sandwich at a cop. I wouldn't have wanted to find him guilty, but of course, you shouldn't be doing that. But two big problems here because they actually mounted a fucking defense. All right, when they were cross-examining prosecution witnesses, and the defense attorney somehow learned about some gifts that the cop, whose name is Larimore, had received from his fellow officers after the assault, included a Subway sandwich plush toy and a patch that read "felony footlong." You've got a picture of this patch.
Is hilarious. It makes sense that he would get his balls busted for this for like the rest of time or whatever, which is also hilarious to think about. He's never going to live this down.
But it raised the question: if you had serious bodily harm, why are your coworkers and you laughing about it? Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't have serious bodily harm. Even if he did, I could see cops or Border Patrol guys still kind of being dicks about it. He could be if something happened that put him in a wheelchair. If it was still comical in nature, I think they'd still roast him for it. To be fair.
Sure. That is true, yeah. But the other problem is Larimore lied on the stand, and cops do this shit all the time. But when people this is why prosecutors hate jury trials. They really want everybody to plead out, because whenever you get some horseshit case in front of a jury, a pool of regular people will look at stuff and be like, "That's fucked up." Like, even in especially with civil trials, that's why you'll see even in the South, the rural South, all white juries when you get a case in front of them and be like, this little poor black child got cancer from this company dumping fucking chemicals in the river by their house for 20 years. Every jury in the world is like, that's some fucking absolute evil shit. Here's $3 billion, right? Lawyers hate this shit.
Right.
They hate when regular people have a sense, like, are instead of like some Supreme Court justice, like splitting hairs in the fine tuning of the law. People get, like, regular people just see, like, is this just or unjust, and vote accordingly, typically.
Right.
And so, like, Larimore, in front of when he was being cross-examined, he testified the impact of the sandwich was so severe that it, quote, exploded all over his uniform and left behind the unmistakable smell of onions and mustard. But on video, and the defense attorney raised this point, you can see the sandwich is still in its wrapper when it falls to the ground.
Yeah. What a dark day. I hope this guy got all the time off and emotional support he needed to be able to come to terms with this traumatic moment. He's talking about it like he was in Fallujah or something. It's like, the unmistakable smell of mustard. You know what mustard is also? Mustard gas, which is against the Geneva Conventions. It was basically like I got hit with mustard gas, which is a war crime, just so everyone knows. It was pretty much the same thing.
It is like...
I feel like if I was this cop, I wouldn't have wanted any of this to happen. I mean, again, getting his balls busted for whatever already, like... I think I would be like, let's please don't, let's not make this an even bigger thing than it already is. Like, I don't want to just fucking let him go and no one ever bring it up again. I don't want to drag this through the fucking news. It's definitely going to be worse for me.
And the thing is, like, even when cops are being honest, they can't help it. Like, what a defense attorneys call it, both prosecutors and defense attorneys call this test of lying, right? And cops will get blacklisted. Prosecutors will take them off witness lists when they do this kind of shit too much. Because, like, you did get hit in the chest with a sandwich. You don't need to embellish it. We're talking about the smell of napalm and mustard in the morning all over your chest.
Right. Yeah.
And it's and the way that, like, one sea change, I mean, like, nothing lasts very long in American politics. We're talking about this with the shutdown consternation, which would be forgotten like a fart in the wind in like 3 days. But, like, so cops and federal prosecutors have been burning their credibility all over the country. Like, typically speaking, federal judges give the government, like, the benefit of the doubt. Like, they just take their word for a lot of stuff, and they basically stopped doing that. And if regular juries stop believing cops all the time, too, because of shit like this, I have no idea how the criminal justice system is going to function going forward. Obviously, they deserve for it to the cases like this to fall apart and shit. But I don't know why they are all throwing away their credibility so much for, like, the sake of Donald Trump's, like, occupying of cities. Greg Bovino, the head of Border Patrol, he got called a liar to his face by a federal judge in Chicago the other day. And the judge ordered him to wear a body cam so they can keep track of what he's up to because he's lying about what he's doing so much.
Right.
That guy's going to be unemployable outside of right-wing think tanks in the future. And anyway, the jury, again, my favorite people, the first people in the history of the world to love jury duty. The last day before they delivered the verdict, asked to have sandwiches for lunch before they voted this guilty or not guilty. And it's just like, there's a thing happening all over right now where regular people, regular Americans, are fucking brave in the face of all this evil shit that's going on, overreached by powerful people, while our elites cower like fucking cowards.
Yeah, and the representatives are not, which, on that note, we'll be getting into that a little bit later. The shutdown is... Lots happened since last week's episode. We had the election results last Tuesday, and then the shutdown is perhaps coming to an end under no uncertain terms, which we will discuss a little bit later. But before we get started, I, of course, have to remind you all of a few things. Please go to TreyCrowder.com and check out my upcoming tour dates. Come and see me on the road. I was just in Wisconsin this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. Next up, Mark's old stomping grounds, Dallas, Texas. Then Largo in Los Angeles on November 19th. That's a big one for me. Please come to that. And then we got Oklahoma City, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and back home for the holidays in Nashville at Zany's with Corey and Drew in tow. Well-read home for Christmas, like every year. And then a bunch in 2026, all of which are on TreyCrowder.com, so check it out. If you would like a palate cleanser, try to get some good news every now and then you can try producer Matt's audio exclusive, Good Skews, Good People Doing Good Things, where he highlights more positively tinted fare, and it's on the podcast feed for this show. If you want to support this program and get more of it, you can do so by signing up on Patreon, weeklyskews.com/more, or just go to Patreon and search for my name. $5 a month gets you access to 2 full-length bonus episodes. It's just episodes of this show, but more of them, and every now and then we do Q&As. We just finished another 2-parter where we answer your burning questions. Either way, support us on Patreon. And yeah, I already told you what we were talking about this week, so let's go ahead and get started with the Daily Dumbass. Matt, graphic, please. Tonight's DD, pundits and consultants who can't grasp the invulnerable popularity of this man, yet must surrender to it.
I am saying your name. You solemnly swear.
All right, you cut him out. So,
What, so was he doing a thing? Were there people engaged that were supposed to be he's doing a repeat after me thing there, right? Was that supposed to actively be happening? Because you can't even tell what he's saying because he's getting booed so hard. But like,
yeah, there were people that's at the Washington Commanders game yesterday. He was swearing in new recruits to the military, I believe, as part of the halftime show, as part of the Veterans Day /
salute to service or all that shit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so like a couple of things, like Trump wants the rigmarole of the new Commander stadiums like ongoing, and like it needs federal government approval because it's land in D.C. or whatever. And in exchange, Trump wants the Commanders to name the stadium after him, which is one of the reasons he was there, trying to make the Commanders owner Josh, what's his name, kiss his ring. Like side note, when I heard he was doing this, I was like, do you guys know he's going to get his ass booed off, right? Like,
right.
Why
well,
are
that's
you
kind of
doing
what I was getting at, or what I was wondering. I was like, so do they have to like do this again backstage or something? You know what I mean? Like, these guys does that count? Are they official Marines still or whatever? If they couldn't, or are they sitting there? They have to do this oath thing, but they can't even hear what he's saying. You know, just feels like.
Yeah. You ask if they have to give back. They have to give back the Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I have no idea, but like, yeah. So I was like, so you guys know where the command, like, they're suburban Maryland. Like the stadium's full of people that are laid off from the federal government or know people who are. It's like a very blue state. I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but whatever.
Yeah, that whole area. I was just in that area, Alexandria, Virginia, and up in there, and like, I mean, I shouldn't have been, but I was. The number of people at my show. This was like right after the shutdown started, like just about a month ago, and that like a huge percentage of them were furloughed already, or were like people that like it's wild how many. I mean, it's not because that's where the nation's capital is, but it is still also kind of wild that how many people in that area, work for the government. So it makes sense that
it's a company town. It's like yeah. So, the shutdown fight. Let's talk. Seems to be at an end or approaching its end game. Although there's still points that could fall apart. But basically, the Senate Democrats caved in a way that made everyone mad at them, even though they're not the villains of the story. It's just perfect Senate Democrat behavior.
Absolutely.
They had backed Trump into a corner where he's advocating for starving Americans, hammering support while seeming actively to cause plane crashes, if not get people stuck at airports for days. And they voted to let him off the hook in exchange for basically nothing that they said the fight was about. They got a few small like things. Dude, I saw yesterday there was a flight from Newark to Savannah that had to fly the whole way at 8,000 feet because of air traffic control restrictions. That's a fucking bus, dog. Mm-hmm. They had Spirit Airlines buses happening under the Trump administration, and they chose to take the heat for ending it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I don't get it. At first glance, like my initial reaction is like on the one hand, I get that it's a shitty situation to be, because like people are being harmed by this, and that sucks. And it's like if you're sitting there knowing like I could stop that from happening tomorrow, whatever. But it just feels like getting into this fight at all, which also seemed like worthwhile, because of people's health care doubling or tripling or whatever because of, this, and them trying to stop that from happening, at least for some time, is like, seems like a fight worth having. But when you get into it, like, you got to be committed to it, like you can't, like, you got to be more pot committed than this. You can't make it the longest government shutdown in history, right? And then just be like, all right, never mind, and get nothing. Like, you got to, like, I just feel like once you're in it, and you need to stick to your guns a little more than that. And like you said, it's just so like typical of the Democrat brand or whatever that it isn't their fault. They were trying to like help people and like all that, and it's still like they come across, looking bad in the end in a lot of people's eyes, or having people mad at them despite that, because it's just what they do.
I don't even want to not to defend the Democratic Party here, but we're talking specifically about Senate Democrat brain, and they chose to do this at this point for reasons
and it's
that are
8
inscrutable.
of them too, right? I mean, like, isn't it?
No, it's all 47 of them, but it's 8 people who made the vote.
Oh, okay.
Why
would those 8 people agree? If they all are on board with it, why would 8 of them sign up to be the ones that put their names on it to get definitely bitched at the most?
They call it the designated villain strategy. Basically, so this is another reason this kind of horseshit doesn't work anymore is because we're all aware of it. Anybody who's paying anywhere remotely close attention yesterday, the Democrats had a caucus meeting, and this deal took weeks to work out. The Gang of Eight, so-called Gang of Eight, have been working on this for a long time, with Chuck Schumer's approval. So they had this meeting yesterday, the caucus meeting, to where they walked through the fine print of it, all 47 of them. And they had Senate pages stand outside the doors and make noise, do like the patter thing, like background actors, so people couldn't hear what they were talking about. So that's one reason they're up to fucking shit they're ashamed of, right? Then they come out, and the 8 people that make this vote, the exact number of votes the Republicans need to pass it because Rand Paul was opposed, exactly 8. All 8 are either people who have announced their retirement, are retiring but have an announcement, or people that aren't up until 2028.
Okay. All right.
Right? If you think every single one of these motherfuckers wasn't in on it, then you were born yesterday, right? And everyone you lay these facts out to is going to absolutely understand it. And another reason they're all into it is if Senate leadership absolutely orchestrated this strategy, if you were opposed to it, you and 23 of your colleagues can depose Chuck Schumer today. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. So if 39 of the 48 of you are actually pissed about this, how it played out, you can make a change. Has anyone tried to make a change? Has anyone come out and said they're vociferously that this isn't they won't stand for this? The closest I've seen it came is Chris Murphy being like, this was not successful, this was a bad idea, but is it call for Chuck Schumer's head? No. They all think it's fine.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Aren't there some people not in the Senate, but in the other parts of the party, right? There are people that are calling for him, calling for his head.
House Democrats are fucking furious. Yeah. This is not an ideological thing. They're going to pitch the left is fucking angry. It's not the left. It's Richie Torres. They sold out so many members of their own party to do this, and they did it. And we need to be clear here. The only reason they would do this now, the elections happened last Tuesday. They were a disaster for Republicans. Trump came out and said he knew that they were a disaster for Republicans, and they were a disaster largely because of the government shutdown. I don't know about largely, but it definitely was a factor. And he said they need to open the government back up, even if it meant eliminating the filibuster. And Trump's been pressuring Senate Republicans to eliminate the filibuster to pass the continuing resolution as it existed. Democrats do not want the filibuster gone for several reasons. One, they're afraid of what the Trump administration will do with it in the short term.
Yeah.
Which would probably be not than ideal for our policy, but probably goodbye to the EPA, for example.
Well, this is what always happens anytime the filibuster comes up, right? Because when the Democrats had power or whatever, ostensibly, but Manchin and Sinema and all that, and this same conversation was had in the court, and everyone, and it was the side that has the ability to do that doesn't want to do that because in the future they won't have it again, or they won't be empowered. It's just they're both afraid of what the other side's going to do with it or something. But also, I feel like it comes back to just both sides. It protects their ability to do what they really are there to do, which is nothing. Do you know what I mean? So as long as there's a filibuster there, it's harder for anything to happen, which both sides deep in their heart that's what they like and what they're there for, I think. So right now, Democrats can nonstop run on reforming the American healthcare system for the better. Right. And never have to do it because they can't get 60 votes. Right. Yeah. If you eliminate the filibuster and they can get 51 votes. Yeah. Now they have to do it. Now they're fucked. Right. Yeah. Right. So that's the other problem hanging over all this. They don't actually be forced to do the shit they promised on the campaign trail that the base wants, right? And Trump celebrated this just to give a middle finger. He'd already signed this, but it came out last night that he pardoned 75 plus co-conspirators in January 6th, including Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and Sidney Powell for trying to overturn the 2020 election. He did this even though they were charged on state charges. He can't do that. Right. He just put in a piece of paper saying they're free now. Yeah. He did the Kobe How My Ass Tastes video to Chuck Schumer. Mm-hmm. And Chuck's like, thank you, sir. I'll take another, please. Right. So if 40 days ago,
and this is like there's been this a lot of people have suffered the last 40 days, and people will endure suffering for a cause. And that's part of this. Is like the people that were suffering are some of them are the most fucking pissed. They're not just relieved to get their federal paychecks back or their SNAP benefits back. They're pissed as hell because they were they thought they were like suffering for a reason,
right? It was
and now
all
they
for
just
naught
said no.
when you do this, yeah, right. It kind of makes the whole thing pointless in retrospect, which is even more annoying if you're someone who was affected by it. You know.
Let me quote here from a federal worker. Okay, I would rather be an actual pawn. At least pawn sacrifices are calculated and achieve something. All this for a fucking meaningless vote. Let me quote here from a woman on Snap. Food was dangled over our heads for a month as a kind of psychological torture. I thought it was to save millions of people's health care. All right? Turns out it wasn't. Turns out it was for it's for a handshake agreement to take a meaningless vote on restoring the Affordable Care Act benefits 40 days from now that won't pass the House, and Trump wouldn't sign them if they did. Probably won't pass the Senate either. And an agreement to rehire some of the fired federal workers. And back pay for federal workers, which they were going to get eventually after a court fight, but Democrats got it for the immediate. Good, right? But if I told you 40 days ago the plan was, how about we shut down the government for this very popular and specific goal, and then, okay, Trey, hear me out. You got to hear me out. This is very important. We hold out for like a month and a half, and then after an election where we ran the table, only then fold and don't get the one thing we said we wanted.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, just don't, if that's if you don't have like stones to really fucking see it through, you just shouldn't do it in the first place, is what, what I'm saying. Because I don't know what they thought. I don't know. They thought it would be easier than it was. They thought the Republicans would listen to reason or something. When's the fucking last time that happened? So,
yeah.
I don't know.
You call a bayonet charge, get halfway across the field, then be like, wait, hold up, everybody stop and sit down for a second. So, to recap, the original Democratic demands were permanent restoration of the ACA subsidies, Medicaid funding restored, and no more blank checks for the Trump regime, i.e. rescission, where they're taking back funding for 50 votes that was approved for 60. Undoing everything was bipartisan. They dropped the Medicaid stuff immediately. They went silent on rescission, so they approved the continuing resolution. Trump's going to spend the money however he wants. I don't understand what the point of making an agreement with him is. And then they cut back to 1 year of subsidies for the ACA on Friday and completely surrendered Sunday. I just want to walk over what just happened in the elections. If you look at the exit polls, this is pretty hilarious. The exit polls basically say this. What do you think of the Democrats? They fucking stink. Mm-hmm. Who do you vote for? As many Democrats as possible.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much my position. If you ask me, to answer those same questions, that's pretty much exactly what I would say. I've been saying that for 10 years or whatever, since I started doing all this shit in public. That's pretty much what I've been saying. Look, I hear you, but still got to vote for them because it's better than the alternative. But no, they don't hit for me. Don't get me wrong.
I'm jealous of the people that vote Republican because they hate Chuck Schumer because their fucking lives are at least easier than mine. Right. To hate Chuck Schumer and still vote for people and make him Senate leader. I just thinking about one of my best friends from high school works for the federal government. He's a civilian employee of the Navy. I don't know exactly what he does for a living because of security clearance stuff, computer science shit, I think. But he's gone without a paycheck for almost 2 months now. And for whatever reason, I don't know. What do you want to tell him, Trey? Right. They damaged Donald Trump's political standing. People noticed the ballroom and shit. I guess politically it had some effect, but if it's having some political effect, guess what doing it more would do? Right. More.
Yeah, you have to be willing to, like I said, hold the line and make it build to a fever pitch. The idea being there finally is enough pressure that they can't ignore it. They being the Republicans, I mean, that it gets, people are literally demanding, because they still were, most of the polls and everything were still suggesting that people generally did blame the Republicans for this whole situation, right? More so than not. They have control of every branch, everything. People are blaming it on them. Fucking, if it gets even worse and worse, it's it should only make them look worse and worse, and find the pressure point that it takes for them to reach where they finally cave is what you have to be prepared to do, I would think, and they clearly weren't. So
I don't think they appreciate the direness of the situation they're in. They're acting like this is a normal. They're just doing normal politics, which is a normal case of executive overreach and public backlash, and they just write it out, and there'll be elections. And what if? Hear me out here. what if there's not really a federal government to take control of back when you win the next election? Mm-hmm. Has any of this considered them?
Right.
I mean, like first of all, the whole point of this, the rescission's part of it, and you could have gotten an agreement about the ICE's like budget stuff and shit. Like you could have the overarching point of this, the everyone unspoken part of it, was to get the executive branch to at least pretend to return to following the Constitution and the law. Over the weekend, ICE drove by and pepper sprayed into the window of a passing car, and hit a 1-year-old baby girl in the face. And Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois voted yes on this. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck do you stand for, Dick Durbin? If it's not, let's try to get ICE and Border Patrol to stop pepper spraying 1-year-old girls.
Yeah. Were they, was that girl an illegal immigrant, this baby? Was the baby, was she a drug mule from Venezuela?
She was wearing Chicago Bulls gear, which means she's definitely in Trinidad and Tobago, so that's part of it. So, and all, do they think they saved anything for like to get people SNAP benefits? Like, they feel like they saved SNAP, but the plan in Project 2025 is to permanently end SNAP. Mm-hmm. So, like, what did you get? Like, you'd like stay alive 15 more minutes?
Okay, about that, right? We started the show, the Daily Dumbass. The clip was from the Fox News program, and the point of it was showing Trump getting booed at the Commie Stadium, but. Mm-hmm. The chyron at the bottom, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something about Americans hurting because of the lack of SNAP just in time for the holidays or something like that on a Fox News show, right? And so this was
hurting
like
Americans. Millions wait for SNAP benefits to feed their families.
Right,
yeah.
on a Fox News show. Mm-hmm. Like you said, this is different than most. This was more, extreme, and the stakes were higher and all this stuff. And it seemed like the universal response to this happening, this being like SNAP just going completely away like that, like it was supposed to, was people being like, oh shit, this isn't good, this is bad, people are suffering. So like Project 2025 and their plan to like get rid of it completely. What is that? That comes after the just complete authoritarian takeover of everything that they do. So it doesn't matter that, people are not going to be happy about that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, it's not a popular, thing to allow to happen, despite all the shit talking about lazy people and that type of stuff.
But the point of like what this stuff Fox News does is to obfuscate who's actually blamed for it, right? Because what they'll do is they'll say like, well, we would have loved to keep SNAP in place, but heroic Donald Trump had to root out all the waste, fraud, and abuse the Democrats were allowed to take place. Like all of it was going to illegals, right? That's the game. So like they can play it being for SNAP in theory and helping people, but obviously it's too corrupt to continue the program. So the idea is like they don't need to be authoritarian to do that. They just need enough rubes to give them control of the Senate and the House every now and then.
Yeah, I just don't. Again, I just know that so many people, like, where I'm from, last week I think we were talking about my hometown, which went 85% for Trump and is very, very red and MAGA and shit, and also 25% of the people that are on SNAP or whatnot right now, So like I just think about that in a world where Project 20, if they like literally do just get rid of it, well, they've demonized it for years, but it does actually go away. It's like. You cannot conceive of being where we're from enough reactionary minded people literally eating roadkill because that's all they have and be like, goddamn Democrats gave my SNAP benefits to illegals. Well, that's actually what I said in the video that I made about when this first happened. I said that with their dying breath, they'll say fucking Nancy Pelosi, you bitch, or whatever as they expire at the end of it. So yeah, for sure. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The unrest and everything will still be there, and I don't get like the future that they seem to want. I guess like eventually all those people just die and they're poor and gross, and so then you don't have to worry about that anymore. And then you got the techno-fascist Christian utopia or whatever the fuck is supposed to happen. Like,
well, I mean, a lot of them believe their own propaganda that all these people who are on food benefits could go get these jobs.
That'll
that
teach
don't
them to
exist.
be better. That'll improve their lives actually, because they'll stop being lazy because they won't be. Yeah, right.
the idea that there aren't enough jobs to go around because the Fed, the government intentionally manipulate interest rates to make sure like unemployment never gets lower than 4% is utterly beyond them. Like the idea that to keep inflation down, we make sure 4% of people are unemployed, and we all kick in a little bit of the money we save on eggs to make sure these people can have eggs. It's like the idea is just utterly beyond their comprehension. But like what pissed me off what the Senate Democrats did is like what the Trump administration was trying to do with the Republicans were trying to force them to choose between saving different groups of people. It's like on the one hand, it's like we got all these people that are going to lose their health insurance, and some of them. I mean, let's be real. People are going to die. There are people all over the internet right now being like, I cannot. If my insurance rates go up like this, I cannot afford to keep buying insulin. And what happens after that is this person dies.
Right.
So they were like, well, if you don't let us kill this person, then we will starve to death the people on SNAP.
Right. Yeah.
And they're trying to force this awful choice on Senate Democrats.
Yes.
And because any sort of center-left coalition or left-wing coalition or any of that requires solidarity, the only move here, the Dark Knight move, when Tiny Lou Zeus Lister throws the fucking bomb detonator out the window, is to not choose.
Right.
I refuse to make that choice. Mm-hmm. Instead, it got close to being a little painful for Donald Trump, and they decided to fucking make the choice.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's almost like, I mean, it's not the trolley problem, but what I'm saying, the idea of like, they being the Republicans are the ones that are inflicting all this pain, and they're also being like, you could stop this right now, and the fact you won't really makes you kind of an asshole, like about the Democrats, and it's like, no, it's still them that's doing it. Like, I get that, you're standing there feeling like, if I pull this lever and fucking somebody's got to do something, but it's like, you're not the one who's fucking everybody over. They are. Yeah,
and like, look, like, I'm not, like I know this is easy for me to say because I'm not in any immediate danger of missing a meal. Right, like this is all hypothetical for me. I'm just sitting here doing game theory shit.
Well, didn't you say don't you have the insurance? Your insurance is going to go up a crazy amount, right? Yeah, yeah. So is mine.
My wife found like a lesser plan where either we can't afford or that we can't actually afford, but it's going to be less good insurance. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's my dumb bullshit. But like, so let's talk about the people that got sold out here because like this is essentially like when they decided to do the trolley problem instead of like fucking trying to break the trolley.
Right.
It's not just people who need medicine. The small group. It's a small but substantial group of people who need to go to doctors. I know we forget about them a lot. But they also fucked over air traffic controllers. Trump apparently has an enemies list. He posted this on Truth yesterday or this morning, I think. Air traffic controllers must get back to work now. And then he goes on to say the people that went to work the whole time get a $10,000 bonus, while anybody who called in sick because they weren't getting paid. He's made an enemies list of air traffic controllers. So there you go, Democrats. There's another group of people you threw out of the coalition to save your own fucking asses. You also threw under the bus all the people trying to make Trump follow the law on SNAP. This happened over the weekend. Late Saturday night, Trump administration sent out a memo saying threatened to impose financial penalties on states that, quote, did not comply quickly with the government's new order to immediately undo any actions they'd taken to provide full food stamp benefits to low-income families. And no one knew what they meant. Mm-hmm. You've already sent out the money. It may have already been spent on food. So the states are supposed to go door to door taking away food out of people's mouths? Spit it out? Like, give back the calories by peddling this bicycle to generate electricity for Mar-a-Lago? Like, what the fuck is the state supposed to do? And talk about how these people think we're beyond history here. Do you know the 3 meals theory, Trey?
Yeah, that basically something like any society, no matter how developed or whatever it may seem to be, is no more than 3 missed meals away from complete collapse, essentially, or something like that.
It's a bunch of versions of it. I've heard 3 meals from anarchy, 9 meals from collapse. It's sometimes attributed to Lenin, although the expression's older than Lenin.
Right. Well, see, that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier about the whole Project 2020. The idea of like fully getting rid of it completely. Whoever they blamed it on or whatever, just like that is like still shit's gonna be fucked in a lot of places, like in a really bad way that I feel like it'll be hard to ignore. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and like they seem to think like only Democratic governors were doing this, but it wasn't remotely true because like governors elsewhere outside the Trump administration, usually the difference between like a legislature and an executive, the executives actually have to operate in the real world because they have to like govern shit. They don't have to manage a staff of a few morons just making noise doing comms. So like Jeff Landry, I think, was the first governor to announce a state plan to implement coverage backfill because even though he was a dipshit Republican, he was the governor of Louisiana, and his state is fucking broke. He also doesn't want to die. So the things Jeff Landry cares about in order are LSU football, letting cronies put oil refineries in black neighborhoods, and not being guillotined by the French halves of both the Creoles and the Cajuns.
Right.
Right. So someone else they sold out here. So when Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin, his response to this order was one word, no. Right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing how powerful the word no can be. Yeah. I was reminded of...
laconic, they would call that.
Mm-hmm.
Laconic.
It reminded me of like when the 101st Airborne was surrounded at Bastogne, and the German officers surrender, and the American commander sent back like, to the German commander, nuts!
Yes, nuts. Very old-timey choice of words and appropriate at the time. But, yeah, no, there's a whole list. I also am a fan of those. There's a whole list of those examples of that. They're called laconic because of ancient Sparta. They like, which was called Laconia. Yeah, but they also want the Persians or something pulled up to their fucking moat or gates or whatever one day and was like, if we come into your city, we're going to fucking kill all the men, rape all the women, enslave all the children, that fucking burn everything to the ground. And the Spartans' response was also one word. It just said, if. That's all they said, which is pretty badass, you know. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe they all fucking died. I don't know. The if part is the cool part. I don't remember what happens.
It doesn't. Here's the thing. I want to communicate. It doesn't matter if they like. Sometimes standing for something means standing for something.
Yeah.
Right. Like it doesn't. Like winning is a longer term goal. I don't understand if they understand this. Like winning is not winning one round of congressional elections. Winning is actually being able to govern in a way that benefits people. If you never get to that point, there's literally no point in holding your fucking office. Or how many of us like it? So there's a power. Fuck yous can be inspirational and lead to the next generation accomplishing shit. To say something simple, and instead of saying no like Tony Evers did or nuts like the fucking American commander did at the Bastogne, they're like a long soliloquy about how we need to do bipartisanship. Like no, fuck you. I don't like. Anyway. Speaking of, the politics of this were redounding to Trump's downfall in so many ways that I can't believe. Speaking of Germans and our century of American humiliation, part of the shutdown guidance the DoD sent out to troops about how to deal with the end of SNAP benefits because so many active duty soldiers need food stamps to feed themselves.
Right.
They gave directions on how soldiers can find food banks in their area. And the way they wrote the instructions, because they were honest, made it clear
that other countries have better support systems or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They especially troops in Germany, they gave clear directions about how to get food aid, where troops stationed stateside did not. And what the DoD did was delete the post when people pointed that out.
Right. It's also related in the midst of all this, and I don't know her name. I should, I guess. But there's that woman who's gone viral and got a pretty big following because she's been. I said on the recent episode when all this came up, I was like, "Yeah, I knew all these people." Now you used to always say it's like, "Well, that's the church's job to do all that anyway." And I was always like, "The fucking church, give me a fucking break." But and there's that woman who's gone viral because she calls all these churches in America and tells them that her food stamps and benefits whatever's been cut off, and she has a baby and she has no food for the baby, and she's wondering if they have, formula, any kind of support system or whatever. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but she's called 50-something different American churches, and I think 2 so far have actually agreed, one of which was a mosque, a Muslim mosque, and the other one I think was like a dirt poor church in Appalachia somewhere or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that's it. And all the rest of them have basically told her to go fuck herself. So,
yeah,
there was a lot.
Basically, if you want help and you go to call a church in America or a religious place of worship, you want to call a Catholic church, a mosque, or I forget what you call a Sikh temple. Do not call a mega church because they spend all their money on a laser light show and headset mics. Another person, like they fucked out here is Ketanji Brown Jackson. This is like judicial whatever shit because there's a lawsuit filed to make force the Trump administration restore snap aid. A 3-judge panel in the First Circuit had issued a stay against the administration, and the Trump administration, instead of going to a full panel of the full circuit, appealed straight to the Supreme Court. And because Justice Jackson oversees the First Circuit, it went straight to her. Now, she could have denied the stay according to her own values and, being a lib and all that shit. But instead, what she did was she upheld the stay, but sent it back to the Ninth Circuit for their full panel review. And this is all wonky shit, I'm sorry, but like she put a 48-hour clock on it after they had issued their full decision. What she did was basically force the Supreme Court to actually weigh on the merits of the case instead of hiding it on the shadow docket and let the clock run out until the point of the case was moot, right? Like they've been doing all this shit. But the Supreme Court, when they think some Trump administration legal argument is too embarrassing for them to say is right, they just sit on it like it's a fucking egg waiting to hatch for like 9 months or a year. And she prevented them from doing that. And they fucking fucked her over. And then, by the way, 2 hours, several hours after the Democrats caved, the First Circuit ruled against Trump. So we could have known the outcome of this case where the SNAP benefits were going to be paid in 48 hours. Never fucking mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just, side note, though, you brought up the Supreme Court. They declined to revisit gay marriage or whatever, right? Didn't that just happen today?
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. We just happened months ago. Kim Davis, remember the clerk?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
She did an effort to she got hit with a civil settlement for refusing the civil judgment refusing to marry gay dudes. It was a couple $100,000, and to get out of paying the money, what she wanted to do was have the Supreme Court say gay marriage is illegal again, so she didn't have to pay the money.
Right,
and they just laughed her out. Yeah,
right. Which is but I mean, look, should be laughed out of essentially any room if for no other reason than her haircut, which I assume she still has.
Right,
that's the real crime.
I am forgetting the specifics of it, but their legal arguments are very, very weak. It's not that they wouldn't love to a lot of them would love to overturn gay marriage. Like this would have been too embarrassing to do. But so let's get on to the elections, because it's so weird that a resounding victory in an election called the Democrats to surrender on something. But that's Democrat brain.
I might say it is weird if you're just like a regular person, but it also it also just feels so right, for the American Democrat Party. Like it's both weird but also very typical. It's like, yeah, of course that's what happened.
There are a bunch of fun signs here, but one of the reasons Democrat won so decisively is they were able to flip actual Trump voters to the Democratic side. Like, for example, the percentage of Trump voters who backed Spanberger in Virginia was 7%. A similar 7% backed Mickey Sherrill in New Jersey, and the percentage of Republicans who say their congressional vote will be to oppose Trump is 7%. That's a 14-point swing. So basically, fuck Trump is an electoral juggernaut, regardless of what the Democratic Party does.
It still is it just annoys me. It's like, this is a clear, a clear and decisive denouncement of the first year of the Trump administration for the American voting public and all this stuff. And to me, it's just like, well, I'm glad that's happening, but also like, y'all didn't even a little bit think that it might, a year ago. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that it has to happen in the first place for people to then be like, oh fuck, this is all sucks. I totally forgot about how much all this sucks somehow. But again, I mean, I'll take it. It's frustrating to me, the goldfish memory.
They're never going to think about it this way, because the other most unaccountable group of people in America, besides the members of the Senate, are the national media. But this is a huge the fact that people feel so misled about the realities of what Donald Trump will get up to in his second administration is a real failure on their part to let people know what's actually going on.
That is true. That's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was living in this country the whole time, and as were you, and I feel like I was fucking very aware of what probably would happen, but the way that they sane-washed the shit out of Trump all the time, the fucking way that they covered the Biden administration and everything all the time, the double standard they have with Trump and Biden or Trump and anybody, and all of that is just, I mean, yeah, you're right. They're very, very, very complicit.
If you tune into the news randomly, casually, like most people who have sane existences, and you see Project 2025, which is put together by these people who associate with Trump, said they want to eliminate the EPA and burn poor children for energy to fuel data centers, but Trump says he has nothing to do with that. Right. Moving on to the next topic.
Exactly.
What's your takeaway?
Yeah.
Right. So another reason, this is a funny part of how misinformed the general public is. So Zoran Mamdani won in New York City. Mayor handled pretty handily, obviously, especially considering he was run against an incumbent, a former Democratic governor, and also the Republican candidate.
Yeah, I saw it right at the 11th hour. Trump, Elon, and like Ben Shapiro and a bunch of other people like pleaded with any New York Republicans to vote for Cuomo and not Siwa or whatever his name is, that Curtis Sliwa, because that was the only chance that they had of Mamdani not winning. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that even if that would have worked 100%, maybe if every single New York City Republican, everybody that voted for Sliwa instead voted for Cuomo, he still would have lost, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Mamdani cleared 50%.
Yeah. Well, that hits for me, too.
Yeah.
All.
So another thing, this is pretty funny. Like, the only reason I brought up Mamdani talking about the state of the news media and how misinformed people are. The Secretary of State in Kentucky had to put out a statement informing people that they could not vote in Kentucky. People were apparently showing up at polls in Kentucky trying to vote against Zoran Mamdani for mayor of New York.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so if you work for Fox News, what are you doing with your life? It's like because people are so misinformed. Like 12% of California Trump voters voted yes on Prop 50 to fuck Trump out of being able to rig Congress. Mm-hmm. What the how? It's been less than a year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. That's what I mean. The goldfish brain and the pendulum swings and all that. It's just, it's crazy to me because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you.
Look, exit polls in New Jersey found that Mickey Sherrill won 18% of Trump's Hispanic voters in the state. So that's 18% of people were misled about what Trump would get up to. With apparently, people saw that Trump said he was going to vote 3 million people and also only vote criminals and assumed there must be 3 million horrific criminal aliens in America. And nobody told them that wasn't true. So hanging over all this is the deep ironic hilarity that the reason they're doing all this misdistricting fight all over the country in the first place, they watered down a bunch of huge red districts from being Trump plus 20 to Trump plus 5, Trump plus 3. Because they thought the 2024 vote was a permanent realignment where all young people and Latinos are now going to vote MAGA forever.
Right.
Utah passed a fully gerrymandered map that includes an R+2 and R+6 district. If this trend holds, those aren't Republican districts anymore. I don't know what to tell you. The year's a long time from now, but the fact that everyone's so fucking confident and certain about how the future's going to play out remains hilarious to me. So yeah, to sum up, we're talking about the elections in vaguely, but there were 13 elections for statewide office last Tuesday. Democrats swept all 13. There was 1 in New Jersey, 3 in Virginia, 2 in Georgia, 7 in Pennsylvania, which were all judges. They won 12 of the 13 races by double digits with margins of up to 24%. The only other race that tied us, they won by 6%. So Moms for Liberty lost every one of their contested school board races nationally. The people continue to love book bans, man. I want to laugh about this. This is an actual mailer from a school district outside of Houston, Cypress Fairbanks ISD. If you got this, Matt. This is a picture of Satan himself endorsing the, I guess, ostensibly anti-book ban candidates. So anyway, the 3 people that the Satan was endorsing all won handily. Hail Satan. Another positive development here. Democrats swept all 3 statewide races in Virginia, like I said, but 50% of all ad spending by Republicans in the Virginia governor's race was on anti-trans ads, and they got blown out. Can we leave trans people fucking alone now?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Well, they got to find the new thing first, Well, it's been
Furries?
What'd you say?
Furries? We go back to furries.
Yeah.
Again?
Well, I feel like you just said, this election just happened and 57% of it was about anti-trans. So they still been going after the trans people, but they also, they went harder on immigrants, it feels like, recently. Mm-hmm. But,
dude, I didn't know we were talking about this, but there was a Republican sheriff who got voted out in suburban Philadelphia, pretty right-wing area, I think, and his Democratic challenger ran solely on stopping cooperation with ICE. So they can make about immigration if they want. I want to mention Jay Jones for a second. So we talked about it a few weeks ago in a bonus episode. He's the Attorney General candidate, the now Attorney General elect in Virginia. Who sent the text that got outed where I didn't realize it was you set me straight. I didn't realize it was a joke from The Office. Do you want to quote the joke, Trey?
Yeah, then in The Office, it's Michael Scott hates Toby, the HR guy, a lot, and he's at one point he's talking about Toby, and he says if Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden, and Toby were in a room together, and I had one gun with only 2 bullets, I'd shoot Toby twice. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So Jay Jones made the same joke about the Speaker of the House of Delegates, and he texted it to a Republican delegate.
Yeah. Hilarious.
He also talked about how maybe if they could make progress on gun violence, that maybe the speaker's children need to get shot.
But what I was about to say, by the way, for the record, when you first brought this up, and I was like, yeah, that's an Office joke or whatever, and it is. I then later, or maybe even on the show, at some point later, I actually saw the actual text that he sent, and again, knowing the context that it was to a Republican in Virginia or whatever. And I very much was like, bro, what are you doing? This is you got to be a little more savvy than this. I feel like because it was just not.
Yeah, and the pearl clutching. Like I saw a bunch of conservatives, activists, and pundits who live in Northern Virginia being like, it's disheartening to know that my neighbors want me dead. It's like, bro, he's obviously just fucking mouthing off.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't any kind of like actual stoking violence type thing or whatever. I just mean like. I don't know how you don't know that this is going to read bad to a lot of people, or it could at least be like spun this way. But he wasn't as artfully done as we do in our group chats, Mark, me, you, Corey, and Drew. Like the horrible things that we say, I think would play for most people because we're good at saying them in a way that's defensible. This guy, not as.
We also
don't.
We don't add to the group chat a coworker on the opposite side of the aisle who would love to see our downfall. Yeah, right. Yeah. so a lot of things about pretty stupid. Anyway, despite this controversy, Jay Jones ran ahead of Kamala Harris in a state she won. There was a Trump to Jay Jones County, Surrey County, Virginia, vote from Trump to Jay Jones. And here's the real plot twist. Carrie Corner is the fucking Republican who snitched on and releases texts to the public. She lost. The voters of Virginia say that snitches get stitches, Carrie. Yeah. Oh, my God. Dude, another Virginia race, absolutely fucking hilarious. John Reed lost. Of course he lost. He's the Nazi lieutenant. The Republican lieutenant governor candidate who's the gay guy who got outed by the members of his own party for looking at
Nazi
Tumblr
porn
posts.
Or something.
Well, he liked a twink who also posted some Nazi porn, themed porn. Like no proof he actually looked at the Nazi porn.
But he was there for the twink porn. It just was provided by a guy that also provides Nazi porn. Who among us, you know?
So he was so far behind. I need to shit on this because I saw details of this and I got them wrong. I thought that there was a debate and that the Democrat showed up with an AI of herself to debate him, but that's not really true. She refused. She didn't feel the need to debate him because she was ahead so much. The woman named Ghazala Hashmi, and so he decided to create an AI of her to debate. And I didn't watch. I only watched a little bit of it, but the YouTube comments were like, "Bro, did he lose the debate to an AI that he programmed?" I want to show you this. If you got this video clip, Matt, throw it up here because this is so this. He should be humiliated for the rest of his life.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us on this unique occasion for an exchange of ideas between the two candidates running to be the next Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. First, the Republican candidate, Mr. John Reed. Welcome, Mr. Reed.
What?
Next, the Democrat candidate, State Senator Ghazala Hashmi. Senator Hashmi, are you there?
Good to be here. Thanks so much.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Starting with Senator.
What is it, God's name?
What is the point of that?
I don't know.
They made a robot to say, "I want to raise your taxes and make your kids get dressed with a man in the locker room."
Yeah. By the way, it feels like you shouldn't, and I mean, I guess this is true of a lot of AI things, but it feels like you shouldn't be able to do that either, in my opinion. But also, it's just, you just shouldn't because it's a bad idea and a bad look, and not something that anyone can take seriously. But, yeah, what a weird and stupid time.
Yeah, I do want to note, since we're running out of time, probably my favorite electoral result was a state senator election in Texas outside of Fort Worth. This is for personal grudge reasons. This is a district that Trump won plus 18, but the Democrat Taylor Remick came in first at 48%. They headed to a runoff. Former South Lake Mayor John Huffman came in third/last. This is after casino owner, Donald Trump fan, and Mavericks majority owner Miriam Adelson spent $3.2 million supporting Huffman again in a state senator's race. That works out to $193 a fucking vote. To this, I want to say, trade Luca again, you dumb old troll doll looking bitch. All right. So, looking forward, this is a funny thing. Look forward to the Senate race. James Tallarico, no idea, was going to win the Democratic primary for Texas Senate. But Axios put out this weird hit piece about the fact that on Instagram, he follows some accounts for women who also make money on OnlyFans and do escort stuff. No reason to know if he knew about this stuff, and like he just most of it's like he follows this woman who on another site posts nudes. He says he never subscribed to an OnlyFans, so it's so weird. Like Tallarico's like a Bible thumping lib. He's like, we should care for the poor.
Yeah,
kind
I
of liberal.
I know who he is.
Yeah. So it's weird what kind of parts of Christianity that we're hanging on to. It's like fuck the poor, but not ourselves. Like, you can't masturbate, I guess.
It's one of those things. It's kind of like no one probably is going to get this because we definitely don't overlap very much. I don't think. But John Crist, the comedian, the Christian comedian. He's also like a buddy of mine. I've known him for years. He's a Nashville guy, but he got pseudo canceled almost. I mean, this was years ago now. He's a single comedian, and it just like I said, he's a Christian comic. It just like came out that he was just like getting laid on the road, basically. Not teenagers, totally fucking like same age, single girls, whatever. But because he's Christian, it was just like that's just sinful. So it was a problem. It's the type of thing where anybody else, literally no one would bat an eye. And it's how this Tallarico shit. It's like if he wasn't a Bible thumping lib, like you said, would anyone even pretend to care about this? And by the way, I still don't care about this. There's a million reasons you could follow all kinds of titty accounts, Nothing wrong with that. We're not going to start vilifying guys for following titty accounts. I actually don't really.
No.
I'm more of a cat and cakes type of guy. But yeah, I don't give a fuck. And I don't think it really affect him either. So it should be fine.
No, the fact that Axios, the DC outlet, felt weird. It was like, did the Democrat Senate campaign committee do this because they want Colin Allred to win the primary? Because like I can't remember. But anyway, Tallarico also follows Instagram accounts of adult film actors such as Honky Tonk Angel. So like, come on, if you can't win Texas Senate because you jerk off to a woman called Honky Tonk Angel. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Anyway, like Tallarico's campaign statement, quote, while James was unaware of how these women make money, he does not judge them for it and will not play into an effort to smear them for clickbait articles. That's exactly what his Christian faith calls him to do. What would Jesus do? Literally hang out with the sex workers.
Yeah. True.
And if we're gonna follow, please, can one national outlet write about all the fucking Nazi accounts that J.D. Vance and Elon Musk follow and interact with all day, every goddamn day?
Absolutely. Fuck. Well, it's way more than just following online for those guys with the Nazis and shit, and like Curtis Yarvin and people like that. Like they, hang out with them physically all the time. Do all kinds of So it's 10 times worse. But I don't want to hear about fucking Tallarico, being a fan of Honky Tonk Angel's OnlyFans page or whatever the fuck's going on.
Then Senator J.D. Vance was very famously all over the internet, although not covered in sort of mainstream media stories, in group chats with teenagers when he was almost 40 years old. I don't know what he was doing. Does that strike you as weird? Strikes me as a little weird. So anyway, one other thing about this election that's kind of hanging over all this that no one wants to really talk about that much is a guy flipped a Republican district in Virginia, basically running a single issue campaign against data centers. It's not some like suburban district. Well, I guess part of it is, but it includes Loudoun County and Warrenton, where my nana used to live. It's in the Shenandoah Valley. So basically, local elections are revolving heavily around data centers, while higher level politicians ignore it and just keep plugging ahead with them. And eventually, this is going to catch up with somebody. And anybody enterprising person wants to run against fucking AI. I know I complain about it all the time, but other people hate it too, and you can totally do it because it's poisoning people's water and driving up electricity prices, and it's going to be an issue. And a quote here from State Senator Danica Rome, a Democrat who represents part of Prince William County and D.C. suburbs. There are a lot of people willing to be single-issue, split-ticket voters based on this. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, overall, still, like I said, The intensity of the pendulum swings in this country while they do frustrate me again. In this position we're in right now, I'll take it. So pretty positive outcomes overall. That was last week. This week the Democrats are right back to fucking up already. But anyway, whatever. But anyway, thanks for
Pendulum swings, baby.
yeah. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And go to TreyCrowder.com. Check out upcoming tour dates. Get tickets. Come see me. Listen to producer Matt's good Skews. On the audio feed of the show, and consider signing up on Patreon, weeklyskews.com/more, $5 a month, 2 full-length bonus episodes. And either way, if you keep watching on Tuesdays, we'll keep showing up. We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.
Skew.